Hi everyone, it's Bobby Allison with the Allison Assist, and I'm here to talk about common emergencies that happen around the house, or maybe even in the workplace, in a in a workplace that you normally wouldn't be expecting emergencies to happen on a regular basis. That being said, I want to talk about cuts, lacerations as we call it in the medical parlance. And I'm a retired firefighter and paramedic with many years of experience. And I also did work in blood banking and been in healthcare for almost a couple decades. And I'm going to talk to you about my experience, but also this information. I always do my research, and so this information is also, you can find it at the Mayo Clinic online, or you can find it through the American Red Cross, which I have a lot of experience with a lot of their educational programs over the years. And so, okay, what happens? You get a cut. How do you know? Does if it needs stitches, right? Okay, sutures is we call it in medicine. So does it need any sutures? Well, first of all, one of the first things to do is, I mean, if it's more than a quarter inch deep, or you can see any yellow fatty tissue or white bone, you see some white, that's a real big emergency, and you definitely need to call EMS right away. Okay, so if it's jagged and gashed, it's going to need some sutures. Okay. Also, applying pressure. You want to apply direct, firm pressure to it for at least 10 to 15 minutes with a direct, continuous pressure. Now, even if the bandage or the whatever you put on there, towel that you put on there to stop the bleeding, if that becomes soaked, don't pull it off, because you're just you'll pull the whatever scab it started to take place, clot started to take place, you'll pull that up. So you just want to put something else on top of that, okay, and continue to hold that. If you cannot stop the bleeding in over 10 minutes, then you definitely need to call EMS. All right, and let me see, what else do I want to say. On joints. If you get a cut or something on joints, they're going to have a difficult time healing anyways. And if it's deep enough that you can't just put a Band-Aid on it, then it needs to have like a suture or a couple, whatever it needs, especially, like on the hands and the knuckles, right? Because you're moving them, and so it's never going to heal correctly. And we don't want to get any infections. This is what we're trying to prevent. Other thing, cuts on your face too. We got to watch out for those. We don't want, you don't want scarring on your face, much less an infection, but you don't want scarring on your face, especially in your youth. And so that's probably may require some stitches. A lot of times, the emergency room physicians will put a temporary type Band-Aid suture on it to hold it together until you can get to see a plastic surgeon, because that's really who you would want to do sutures, especially if you have to do quite a few, or if it's a large gash or something on your face. All right, so those things you're definitely going to need to have either EMS needs to come and get you, or you need to seek medical attention at the hospital or your doctor's office. All right, so now, one of the things you can do, and most of the time, is if it's not a deep cut and it's not gash, and that has to do with the same thing with your scalp. Okay, those look the worst, when you get a laceration on your scalp because the blood pouring down your face, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at that, it looks terrible. And so facial bleeds, nose bleeds, scalp bleeds, they always look bad. And even when there's not an arterial or a severe venous bleed involved with that. So that being said, what do? How are we going to treat it? So one of the most effective ways to treat a cut is with mild soap and water. Okay, wash the area. Skip the harsh chemicals. Avoid hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down scabs anyway, so you don't want to be using that. Bandaging aftercare. Let me look at my notes real here quick. Yeah, bandaging and aftercare is changing the dressing, most likely on a daily basis. In these cases, what we're talking about is very minor cuts, okay? But they still need to be a Band-Aid, or they need to have a bandage on them. And keeping it clean with regular soap and water will work really good. Also, there's also ointments, really good ointments, the triple bacterial ointments. I'm not going to name any names in particular, but they're you have your generics of those too. These ointments can be effective, and but whenever in doubt, of course, one of the things you want to do is consult your physician. If after a day or so, after 24 to 48 hours, within 48 hours, if you're seeing any swelling, or you're seeing pus, anything, and it's painful, then you want to definitely get to the doctor. Okay, so get an appointment with your doctor, or go to the emergency room, because you don't want to get an infection. Okay, because infections can lead to something called sepsis. And sepsis is very dangerous, and a lot of people don't realize that sepsis actually kills a lot of people every year, and that's an infection of the bloodstream in your whole body. You have infection in your whole body with sepsis. So be careful. If it needs sutures, that's how you know. All right, is it more than a quarter inch? Can you get it to stop bleeding? And even if you do get it to stop bleeding, if it's jagged and it's deep, like over a quarter inch, okay, or if it's on a joint, or if it's on your face, then you want to seek medical advice. Okay, all right. This video is for advice. It's for educational, entertainment purposes. These are all my opinions, but it's based on the research that I've done. I consulted with everybody over at Mayo. I went on the Mayo Clinic website and also the American Red Cross to double check, make sure they're still. I've been retired for quite a few years, so I want to make sure they're still doing it the same way. Bandaging really hasn't changed that much. So remember, that's what you need to do. So you can make pretty easy choices this way, or not easy choices, but you can make good choices, so you don't necessarily have to be spending 5 to 6 hours in an emergency room, and you may not even need to make a doctor's appointment. So take care of yourselves, and we'll look forward to talking about how about fractures and sprains. How do we know which is which, or what to do? Chances are you probably can't tell. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, subscribe and like. Thank you very much.